After back-to-back wins, West Ham welcome Norwich City to the London Stadium. Newly promoted side have started off reasonably well in the campaign this year. Welcome back to Irons United for our match preview of West Ham Norwich City, Saturday, London Stadium, 3 o'clock kickoff. I, of course, am Anton, and I'm joined by Matt. Matt, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, quietly confident. Don't know if I should think that's a bad thing.
Well, the whole point of this is we are going to be going through, both teams, selections, form, etc. Listen, Norwich City, they've come up, they've started well. What's your kind of generic thoughts on them and maybe their business they had in the summer?
They were quite some, weren't they? I think they were like the lowest spenders. I think the only player they really brought in was Byron from us, and he's come in as a number 2. They've gone the opposite way of Villa went for let's spend all our money, chuck everything at it, and Norwich have gone no, we played really well last year. We're going to stick with that team and see how it gets us. And to be fair, they're a really good attacking team. Like, I know they've only won one of their 3 games. I think they've lost 2 of them. But last week they played Chelsea and they lost 3-2. They still scored 2 goals against Chelsea. They're a good team going forward. It's just they're taking a while to adjust at the back. But then they've played Chelsea and Liverpool in the first 3 games. So who knows? Could this be the game that they turn up against us and play well, or are we going to actually sort our defence out? It's going to be the question.
Well, of course, that is going to be a good question. But let's talk about players that Norwich have got. In particular, Pukki, who has got how many goals this season already? In
5 goals already.
5 goals already. What are your thoughts on? What are your thoughts on Pukki in particular?
What an absolute bargain! That was a freebie from the German league, and he played in the Championship last year. And I think he scored 30 plus goals. He reminds he's energetic. He's got good technique. He always backs himself to score. It reminds me a bit like when Swansea signed Michu all them years back, and he just come straight up and started banging in goals. But I do worry that at the moment, if he's not scoring, where their goals going to come from. But you've got him. You've got the fullbacks. They've got these young attacking fullbacks in Aarons and Lewis on either wing, and they bomb forward, and that's going to be difficult for us because they love stretching and getting up the pitch.
One particular player though you haven't mentioned is Cantwell.
He's a tasty little player. I hadn't seen much of him before. They come up. I watch a bit of the Championship, and I'd seen bits last year, but I hadn't seen much of him. I know, it's always people talk about they've got a very young back line. I mean, they've got, you said Cantwell. From what I've seen of him, especially in a game against Chelsea last week, he is a tasty little player.
Do you mind then? Have you got the team from what Norwich set up from against Chelsea last week?
So they, generally speaking, they play they call it a 4-2-3-1, but Pukki runs up on his own. You've got Tim Krul in goal, ex Newcastle. Yeah. You've got Aarons and Lewis on the wings with Godfrey and Hanley at centre back, and they're both quite young. I think one of them was playing non-league about 4 years ago. You've got Littner or Leitner, I think it might be Littner. Tribal, he was pretty good against Chelsea as well. Buendia, Stiepermann, and obviously Cantwell and then Pukki. It's a solid team. It's well rounded. I said they've got youth at the back, which can go either way. Sometimes the experience is a bad thing, but they get about the pitch. They're very attacking with the fullbacks. The 2 guys in front try and protect the back 4, and it's leave Pukki up front, try and do what he does up front on his own. Realistically,
they've got a lot of confidence though. I mean, for a newly promoted side to kind of run away with how many points did they get last year? Was it not?
It was I'm sure it was in the 90s. I know they were exceedingly good in the Championship last year, but even last year they were, you could score against them. They had a lot of games last year where they won it, but going into injury time they were losing, and they've done it about 3 times. They were losing injury time and won, which generally speaking you don't get in the Premier League. You might be losing injury time and draw, but you don't really get, I'm losing, last 5 minutes, turn around and get a win.
How much?
And you saw.
Sorry, on you go.
I'll say you saw in the Liverpool game, first game of the season, that in the first half they went we're going to play our attacking
Yeah.
game, and Liverpool tore them to shreds. Like they played wide with the fullbacks up high, and Liverpool, Salah, Mane, Firmino just annihilated them. And in the second half, they tucked the fullbacks back in, and they were more solid, but they didn't offer as much going forward. And I think it's still going to take them a while to try and find that balance.
Adjust.
Yeah.
Do you think last week's defeat to Chelsea? I mean, I think a lot of teams go out and sit up against Chelsea thinking, "Oh, this is our year to get. This is our chance to, Frank Lampard, the transfer ban." And they played well. They played decent, but obviously, maybe some class in like Abraham up top showed through. I mean, do they think have they lost a lot of confidence from that, or do they coming up against West Ham with a confidence in let's travel to London Stadium? West Ham don't play that well at home, and we're going to go there with that attitude to play ball.
Yeah, see, if I was Falk, I wouldn't be coming out that Chelsea game going, "Oh, we're really upset."
Yeah.
They were actually on the back foot a lot in that game. It was more counter-attacking.
Yeah.
But they scored 2 goals, and although Chelsea have had the transfer ban and they are, it is Lampard's team, they've still got a heck of a lot of talent in that team, and they still scored 2 goals. The second half against Liverpool, they looked a lot better, a lot more solid. But like I said, they might come into it. They're going to come into the game against us, and I think they're going to be full of confidence because they like attacking and we like attacking. And like our game against Watford last week, it's going to be end to end.
Of course.
But Norwich got Pukki up front, who's a clinical finisher, and Watford didn't.
Yeah.
Watford scored their chances last week. They got a minimum of a draw, if not won it.
Yeah.
Norwich are going to go to this game going, it's a big pitch, London Stadium. We love playing this big, expansive football now. Love playing out from the back. Norwich love pressing up high as a unit. They're going to be quietly confident. They're going to think this is going to be a game, that they're definitely going to look and try and get points out of.
Let's not forget though, West Ham come off back-to-back wins, but on the same time, Norwich come off back-to-back defeats. In midweek, they were defeated by League 2 side Crawley Town, but also as part of that game, lost 2 of their players. Tim Close's season looks like it could be over potentially with an ACL injury, and Christoph Zimmerman was forced off after receiving a knock to his back. Obviously, they've got some other injuries. Hernandez is out with a knee injury. Actually, really rate him quite highly. Actually, I mean, we keep forgetting that he's there, and he's got a decent goal scoring record, mate, in both the reasonable in the Premier League and previously in the Championship as well. But how much of an impact will that be on a team like Norwich having back-to-back defeats? Newly promoted. Well, the pressure's on the players like Pukki because he is scoring goals, and everyone's going, "Oh, let's put him in our fantasy team." You know what I mean? Like, I'm jesting with that side of things, but
it's weird because they done what we normally do. They put out they changed. They made 11 changes in midweek, and clearly Farker went, "Don't care about the cup. It's Premier League survival," which in their situation you'd fully understand. He didn't play any of the first team. Closer, playing centre back, is unlucky. Like, he's literally just come back from a massive injury, and it looks like he'll be off again. Zimmerman has been more involved in the first team this season, so that could be a bit of a miss for him. But I don't know. Like, it's a cup game, it's a one-off thing, and he changed the 11. Like, is it going to affect him? Like, he's going to go, "Well, none of you played. None of you were involved in the loss." Yeah, again, as Championship team, it normally takes when they come back up, teams come up. It normally takes them. They have that buzz for like the first month, 6 weeks of just they run harder, they run faster, and then when it gets to like November, and they've realised you can't run all year, that's when they start picking down or they get more tired. But they're going to be, as I said, like we made 10 changes, they made 11, so both teams will be rested. Realistically, they're both still going to be fancy. I know that they only picked up 3 points in the first 3 games. But they did have to go to Anfield and then had Chelsea. And they still gave respectable, barring the first 45 minutes of Liverpool, they gave very respectable accounts of themselves in both games. This isn't going to be like, when some Premier League teams come up and Championship teams come up and you go, "Oh, it's been an easy game." They are a very good football inside, well drilled. It's going to be an interesting game.
We've both faced each other 72 times across all competitions. West Ham winning 28, Norwich claiming bragging rights to 22 times. I seen a poll today. There's been quite a few players that have played for both sides. Most notably, I suppose, Dean Ashton, Matthew Everington, Matthew Rush,
Rob Green.
Rob Green, yeah. Out of those, this is a poll that was put out from Hammers Polls today. Out of those, who would you say, or from just the four we've mentioned there, who would you say was your favourite player that? I mean, I suppose let's remove Dean Ashton because I think he's going to be everyone's favourite probably. So let's just keep it to the next level.
You know what? I always liked Rob Green until he went to the World Cup. That ruined him.
England's number 6.
When he made that mistake against Dempsey in the World Cup, that literally finished his career. Like, he never got back for it.
Yeah.
But I always liked him as a goalkeeper. I think we got him on a free as well. Like, and he was. I always remember that game. What was it? At the was it? Yeah, no, the Emirates. We won 1-0, and he literally made. I don't know how many saves he made that day, but he just would not be denied.
No, absolutely not.
But I'd probably say Rob Green.
No, good shout. Obviously, Norwich have played 3, won 1, lost 2, got 3 points for the season. Let's move on to our beloved West Ham, who unfortunately have lost the impact player, Mikel Antonio. It looks like he's potentially going to be out for up to 6 weeks with what looks like a potentially, is it a torn hamstring they're saying, is it? They're not sure?
Yeah. Pellegrini said today they don't actually know yet because they can't scan it. Because there's still the bleeding, the swelling hasn't gone down yet. Until they can scan it, they don't know. They reckon he might get.
My biggest concern though there, Matt, is that his injury, it actually looks like a really bad injury, because I always think about players that do get hamstring injuries and it's painful, but he just looked like he was in excruciating pain and never even remotely put any weight on it. He never put any weight on it, so when a hamstring goes you can still limp. No. That was my biggest concern. He wasn't limping, he never put any weight down on it at all.
If it's surgery, it's more like 3 months.
Matt?
When you're looking, it's not back to Christmas. But you won't know.
Matt, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
hear me?
Yeah, I must have lost you there for a second, mate.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. This thing could be 3 months.
Yeah.
That he could be out if he has to have surgery on it, and then he's not back to that a bit of a blow, because he has, like, in the last couple of weeks, made himself that niche of becoming a super sub.
Yeah.
Arguably, he should have been started because the impact he's made coming off the bench, but that pace down the right wing, we're going to miss it.
Yeah.
Because we don't have anyone else that could play on that side that's got pace.
Absolutely. A positive that came from midweek was Jack Wilshere's return to the starting 11, albeit against League 2 opposition. I mean, looking at Pellegrini's press conference today, he played him up a lot. Is this going to be a return to the starting lineup for Jack Wilshere? Would you do it?
If Antonio's again not going to be fit, I could see him bringing him in, but I could see it bringing him in and maybe dropping out one of the wingers to accommodate him.
Yeah.
Like, I could see him moving Lanzini out onto the wing.
Yeah.
And then leaving Noble in and playing Jack as like the number 10.
It's really tough.
Instead of playing in the midfield too.
It's really tough though, mate. When you've got to think about West Ham have come off back-to-back wins. And the game last week against Watford wasn't rosy. Wasn't by no means rosy or perfect. But we still got the result. Mark Noble came in, done the job. He sent fireworks up everyone's you-know-what to get them rocking and get them going in the second half. Antonio came on, he made a massive impact. We've lost Antonio. Jack Wilshere was missing from the starting 11 but had a great game midweek. Yarmolenko's fighting for fitness and started last week's game. There is that, I feel like there's that similar pattern coming back, and I said that last week as well, where Pellegrini is getting this whole kind of who is his starting 11. I think I made the comment last week and said I don't think he does know who his starting 11 is.
I think he knows he's back 5 at the moment, apparently.
But does he though? Because he's got this mixture of Balbuena and Ogbonna coming in. Does he?
I mean, for me, I'd play Balbuena, but for some reason he wasn't playing Ogbonna.
But I would be the same. But that means then, does he know his back 5? Because so far in the 3 games, he's changed central defence every game.
No, you know Fabianski's going to play. I'm pretty sure you're pretty much guaranteed that unless he gets injured, Fredericks is going to play. Because I don't think Zabaleta has got the pace or legs now to play.
He more or less admitted that in the interview after the Newport game. I don't know if you've seen the interview when he came on and said congratulations on your 400th appearance in English, and he went, yeah, you know, a lot of players my age don't have the legs, and he was talking about the end of the season, how he was saying, I'm going to decide what I'm going to do at the end of the season, but it's been great to be here and all that sort of stuff and show the younger people. So it was just like a confirmation that he is, you know, he's the backup.
He's the backup.
Yeah.
He's the backup. And Masuaka's clearly Masuaka's going to start because Creswell ain't got any legs either, except Creswell's like 6 years younger than Zabaleta, and he looks about as slow as he does. So I guess you could say four of the back five. But going forward, I think you could say Wilshere will be in the mid. Rice will be in the midfield, and Haller will be up front. And apart from that, I don't think he knows who's in his team. But it's a good thing because if he doesn't know, we don't know. Then Norwich don't know. And it's not like the last few years where we could literally, you could sit there and say this is our first 11, because the quality and depth we've got now is like, well, no, like, you know, if you start Lanzini, Anderson, and Wilshere, then where's Fornals playing? Where's Yarmolenko playing? Where's
Declan Rice playing? Where's Martin Noble playing? I mean, you can add all these players into it because if he's got to fit that in, we know they're going to put those players in there. I mean, for me, it's a no. Do you know what? We've said it so many times. Have we said it? I don't know what gang you're on when it comes to Martin Noble, but you can't fault when he comes back into that side. He just creates this calmness. He does, whether he has a great game or not. When he's not there, in my opinion, we sometimes run around like headless chickens. And that's exactly his role as a captain, as a leader, to dictate where people are, even if he's not particularly playing well himself, because he knows he doesn't play well himself sometimes. He kicks himself up and down the park, but he does organise a lot of other people, and that's massively important for West Ham.
The worrying thing is like we don't seem to win if he's not playing. But he knows he's not going to be playing every game now, so we need to try and find someone. Even if he's bringing someone else in who's got that leadership ability, we need someone in the department that can do it, because Noble can't do it every week. But there's no denying when he does do it that you can still see he's there. The ability's still there. It's I've never questioned his ability. He's always been like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. It's his legs that I worry about, because I don't think he can do it for 38 games a season anymore. You know, they said the game last weekend was his 15 years since his debut. He's only 32, but he's been playing in the first team for 15 years. That's like the lifespan of Premier League football, 15 years. But there's no doubt that we play a lot worse when he's not in the field.
Yeah. I mean, people are in the chat there. People are saying it's a good headache for West Ham to have. Of course, it's a good headache for West Ham to have. My only concern is, on paper, I mean, look at our bench last week. I just don't think our bench looked massively strong last week. I know, and I think you had said in the group that you thought, at least there was a couple of players there that did look strong, but maybe this was me basing my opinion on, you know, like Roberto. He had a decent game midweek, and we've seen him in pre-season, and I just worry that, you know, a couple of injuries. Antonio's out now, so where does that kind of leave us with that impact sub? You know,
well, the thing is, you say about the bench, but like, don't forget the Watford game last week. Creswell, Wilshere, and Snodgrass weren't even on the bench. So it does give you some part of where we were. Johnson hasn't been involved in the squad yet. You know, he was on the bench in midweek. Hernandez hasn't been on the bench. You know, he's had a knee injury. I don't think anyone knew about it. Yeah. So you've had players out and they haven't been missed. Like, you know, 2 years ago we had one guy injured. You're like, crap, who's going to replace him? But the fact now you've now got Creswell, Snodgrass, and Wilshere not even making an 18. You've got, but it's very. We've got options there, but there's not a lot of pace, which is the problem. That's the worry, because like you said, like, you know, Snodgrass plays on the right wing, Yarmolenko plays on the right wing. Neither of them have got pace. So then you're already relying on one of them's cutting inside and Fredericks is overlapping.
And it's funny when we talk about Yarmolenko, no pace, coming back from a bad injury. But if you remember how Yarmolenko got into the side last season, it was because of an injury, and then he played a couple of games and people were like, oh, he's really slow. And then the game before, the Everton game before he got the brace, he was like showing signs of brilliance. Everton game, fantastic. A couple of other games, fantastic. Got the injury, and that was him. So I sometimes feel like maybe a forced, you know, for me,
he's not.
No, he's not. No,
he's not a
but he's
pacey
a
player.
clever.
Like, let's be honest.
He's
A very skillful,
clever
intelligent player. Yeah. But it's not. I suppose it's better than last year because at the moment Fredericks isn't injured, and even if he does get injured, we've still got Johnson. The worry for me is that if Antonio's out for 3 months and Pellegrini tries to go back to Zabaleta, because like in that game last night, when you had Snodgrass and Zabaleta on the same wing, like even though was it League One, League Two standard, they knew full well that Snodgrass was cutting in on his left foot. And it was Zabaleta going past him. And Zabaleta hasn't got the legs to go up and down. You can play them as attacking fullbacks when you're playing a team of that standard. But you can't do that in the Premier League. You can't leave Zabaleta halfway up the pitch trying to overlap Snodgrass or Yarmolenko all game. Which is where Antonio come in. Because he does bully people. He has got the strength and the pace. So he is going to be a miss. But there's no one of his type of player to replace him. But there is players of equal ability, if not probably better ability, that can play in that wing. They're just not as effectual in the way that he.
Let's get on to some team selection then for West Ham. Like you said, obvious, Fabianski starts. Fredericks and Masuaku fullbacks. Centre-half pairing, it's got to be Balbuena alongside Diop. It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be. For me, it's got to be. But I'm not having this whole crap that was like, he wants a right foot, left foot centre back. If he wants a right foot, left foot centre back partnership, put bloody Cardozo in, because he honestly can't do any worse than Ogbonna is. But for me, it's got to be Balbuena, because they were. Don't forget, they were like the partnership last year.
I think Pellegrini will, to be honest. I really do think he will. So I'm gonna stick with that and say that that's my personal opinion, but I think he also will do it. Midfield, I think Noble's going to start. I think Declan Rice is going to start, and that leaves us with 4 more positions to choose from that lovely selection of players. For me, so far, our best player of the season has been Lanzini, and I think it's a no-brainer he's going to be in the side.
Yeah.
I think it's a no-brainer that Anderson's going to be in the side. So who does that leave then? Left, especially now we know that. Well, I'm only joking. I'm making this for.
See, I think based on what Pellegrini said today in an interview, I think he's going to play Wilshere in that front three. Like, I think he will go Rice and Noble holding because that is more solid. He'll put Anderson on the right wing to put the pace to replace Antonio. Lanzini on the left, and Wilshere like just float around. It's almost like a 4-4-1-1. Like Wilshere can just do what he wants, and then obviously Haller up front.
Yeah, I mean, I like that. I mean, if that side is if that's what's announced, come Saturday, I'll be delighted as a West Ham fan, and I'll be quite excited to see that side. There's you're excited to see every week, but what is it about? I mean, you could of course, but I still think Pellegrini's showing signs of building him into the Premier League. So I think upon an injury or whatever, it's up to someone else to lose their place to give Fornals his place, in my opinion. And I think that's the position he's playing in just now. He does look intelligent. He does look like a good player. I do like the look of him. But I don't think he's going to walk into the first team straight away. I think it's going to be a case of someone's dipping in form, and Pellegrini's got no other choice but to give Fornals that option. Chicharito's back from, like we said, his bug, so he'll be on the bench. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting open game. We've not been to London Stadium since that fateful day where we got smashed 5-0 by Man City. I'll be there alongside yourself, Matt. And before we go on to predictions, let me know the man to watch for Norwich to keep an eye on.
Do you want the obvious answer or do you want another answer?
I'm going to be different to you. Right.
Because the obvious answer is Pukki, but the other answer I'd say is Max Aaron,
right,
the right back.
Yep.
I really rate him going forward. He's going to do damage against Masuaku, who you have to play him at left back because Creswell's too slow. But Masuaku is good at defending, but then every now and again his situational awareness he just switches off and play could go past him. And if he does that to Aaron's, you're going to be in trouble because not only is he good, he's also got a good delivery. So that would be my
Before I go
second
into
pick
my
behind
player to
obviously
watch,
Pukki.
someone came in there and just mentioned in our chat about Sanchez. And listen, you've got to hold your hands up and say that he had a good game in the week. Yeah, okay, against League Two formation opposition. But you have to remember he still came back from a terrible, terrible injury. I still don't think he's as bad as what people are making him out to be. I really don't think he is.
It's just the game in midweek. There was times where if we were playing Premier League team, they would have scored easily. Like there was quite a few times where he just seemed like the ball would come to him, and he'd either like panic because he was getting the ball, or he just like he'd dawdle on the ball. He'd take too long. But saying that, he did have a pretty good game. But it seems to be like Antonio's job. What his role before he got injured was that half an hour to go, 40 minutes to go, whatever. I'm bringing you off the bench, and you're going to go run at people. It seems at the moment Sanchez's job is 5-10 minutes to go. If we're winning, you're coming on for one of the attacking midfielder. Yeah. So, look, let's just hope that Declan Rice doesn't get injured because I'm not as convinced with Sanchez as I am with Rice. Sorry.
Man to watch for me for Norwich is Cantwell. From what I've seen this season so far, I actually think he's like the kind of unsung hero for Norwich. He's got some decent assists under his belt, scored a couple of goals already. I just think that players like Pukki and the rest of the team around them keep the radar off of a player like Cantwell, and he can be, really dangerous from his position. He plays through central, and he's all over the shop in a positive manner for Norwich. So he looks like a really good player, like you said, Matt. I didn't know much about him, but I've seen him a few times this season. And I think, God, he's a good player. I do like the look of him, to be honest, and you don't know much about him, and that's probably a worrying thing. Man to watch for West Ham. I can't disagree with you, mate. I really.
If he turns up, because he's very. So far this season, he's had that consistency, but like previous years, he's had this thing where he'll have like a couple of good games and then a couple of like not bad games.
Do you put that down to the mixture of losing Payet? You're going to have players like Lanzini who can't take all that pressure of being that only creative player. You put players like Payet beside Lanzini, he plays really well. Payet, they feed off of each other. You put players like Wilshere, you put players like Anderson and Yarmolenko all beside Lanzini's, giving him less pressure to do other things in the team, therefore giving him the freedom to go and do what his job is, which is to.
It's a mixture of that, but I also think, and this is no disrespect we've had, but I think the players we've brought in the last year, so we say, are more intelligent, like in the nicest way possible. Like you watched Lanzini before, and Lanzini would do things, and you're like, well, he'd make like a really weird like reverse pass, and you're like, what pass it to no one. Whereas in like especially like in the Bilbao the friendly game, when you had Lanzini for an hour, Anderson and Haller, like the passing was ridiculously good. You could see it. So maybe it is a case of maybe that he wasn't inconsistent. It's just that the people weren't there to play for him. But for me, it'd be Lanzini.
Just excites me this year. I'm excited. There's an impending potential rumour kicking about that he's about to sign a 5-year contract extension with West Ham. I think he's worth it. I think he's worth every single penny. Yeah, I think he's worth every single penny.
Apparently.
I think that some fans are easy to turn around, especially on social media, because it's easy to do when he has one bad game, or like you said, he goes missing in a game, and rip him and say he's not worth anything. But he is, mate. He is one of our. He should be one of our biggest earners at the club.
He should be, especially if the rumour is that he's still on 35k a week. Now, obviously, we're sitting here saying about this money, and obviously, to any average person like me and you, is like 35k a week. I'd love 35k a week, but when you put into context that last year Carroll and Perez were on 90 grand a week each, and Lanzini was getting 35k, it's. If we don't give him the money, he's going to easily get the money somewhere else. There's plenty of better teams and bigger teams than us that would go.
We'll maximise his.
We'll give him 100 grand a week.
If we can sign him, in my opinion, if we get him over the line with a 5-year contract, he's settled. He knows where he is going to be, and that's what we need from a player of his ability. Anyway, before we give you our predictions, please make sure you get your predictions in below. Let us know your thoughts, comments, the full whack. Get them in, and we will comment back on what you say. Also, before we give you our predictions, please make sure you are subscribing to our channel. We do apologise in the past if we have had any things like audio problems, etc. Everything was rosy, and then bang, we had to get a new laptop and reset up the settings, and it took ages and all that sort of stuff. So thanks for bearing with us. Hopefully we're going to get it sorted even more moving forward. I think the sound's been good today, which is quite good. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel. We have just announced the winner of our first competition. There'll be a new competition coming out, which will be for the away top, the white away top, thanks to our official partners at Umbro. So make sure you follow them on all the social accounts. And lastly, we are coming to you with a few new shows over the next few weeks, but in particular on Saturday, we're actually going to be doing some fan cams of our own. So if you are in and around the stadium and you see us with a camera, come up to us, give us your opinion, and we'll upload them to our channel and get your message out there as much as you possibly can. Matt, I think you're going to be coming to everyone with an out of 10 rating show the day after a game moving forward, so that'll be an interesting one. And then we've got another couple of things up our sleeves, so we'll be coming to you with that. Anyway, let's get on to predictions. Matt, after last week, do you want to do what Alf did and make some crazy bets? Say if West Ham win, go against me, and then you'll have to do some form of forfeit.
You know what? I hate hot sauces, so I might just have to go for the hot sauce bet. I do what Alf did. I'm not eating a hat. Like, I don't even own a hat. But we could do like a sriracha sauce, whatever. What was it? Ghost pepper sauce, whatever. We'll do one of them. I'm going for 2-2. If you go on form, the last two times we've played, which is the Premier League when they were last up here, both games finished 2-2. Yeah. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going 2-2.
Wow. Are you ready for this? I'm going to go for West Ham to score 4 goals and Norwich to score 2. 4-2 to West Ham.
We had a few of them last year. Yep. Could see it.
I think we'll typically concede again, but I just feel like we'll have enough going forward, and I need to remain positive. I have to remain positive. I can't even not.
Well, see, my heart says 3-2 win. My head says 2-2 draw. So,
are you wanting to come against me though and make a if you lose?
Yeah, sure.
He's going to be like,
yep, sure, let's go.
So if we win 4-2, what are you going to do?
I'll get whatever that hot sauce was that he had, and I'll try the hot sauce challenge or a hot wing challenge or something. I'll find some sort of ridiculously spicy food. I don't do spicy food well, so it'll be entertaining.
And we want to see the aftermath of it as well.
Yeah, no, sure we get a live stream or something. I'll do it. I'll make sure I've got like a whole 4 pint of milk next to it. I think when I start dying and the sweat's kicking. But I'm gonna say 2-2.
Right, cool. I've said 4-2. Get your comments in below. Let us know. We'll come back to you on the comments. And thanks for tuning in. Let's just get behind West Ham for the weekend again for our 4th Premier League game of the season, and hopefully we can make it a hat-trick of wins in a row between all competitions. Anyway, he's been Matt, I've been Anton, we're Irons United. Come on, you Irons.